You can give her the whole world and she will still walk away. It sounds cruel, but that is the truth. How many men have drained their time, money, and emotions, only to receive coldness and a harsh ending in return? Today, I will tell you something no one dares to say. Women do not care about everything you do. They are only drawn to something you never even thought of. And if you miss this truth, you will keep losing in the game of love. We men grow up with a deeply rooted belief the more effort you put in, the bigger the reward. In sports, you train hard, you win. At work, you put in extra hours, you get promoted. In school, you study day and night, you score high. But in love, that logic turns into a deadly trap. You think that if you give her everything, buying gifts, driving her around, texting her every hour with care, she will automatically be touched and love you more. But the harsh truth is, women are not attracted to those actions. She might thank you. She might call you nice. But in her heart, that doesn't mean she truly wants you. And this is the point where many men collapse. They believe they just need to be patient. Just try a little harder, and one day she will realize their worth. But in reality, the more you do, the less you are valued. You become certainty, and certainty never creates desire. Think back to yourself, or to a friend who has fallen into this situation, always present whenever she needs, always saying yes, always clearing the path smooth for her. And then one day, she chooses another Manon who cares less, who is even unpredictable. You're left in shock. What did I do wrong? But the problem is that you did wrong. It's that you were playing by the wrong rules of the emotional game. Women do not count the number of times you sacrifice. They feel through energy, through emotion, through the impact you leave in their hearts. Desire doesn't come from hard work. Desire comes from that unexplainable spark. And that spark doesn't come from doing more, it comes from making her feel more. This is the foundation men must carve into their minds. Effort does not equal desire. If you don't understand this, you will keep wandering in a loop. The more you give, the less value you hold in her eyes. Next, we will uncover the 10 truths women truly want. Truth 1. Effort does not equal success. This is the first shock many men don't want to believe. In work, the more you do, the more results you get. But in relationships, the harder you try, the faster you lose value. Imagine a guy who just met a girl. He immediately starts texting non-stop, sending good morning every day, good night every evening, giving gifts after just a few dates. He thinks, I'm showing her, I'm genuine. Surely she will be touched. But in her eyes, that excessive enthusiasm doesn't make him attractive. It makes her feel like he's trying to fill an empty void inside himself with her attention, and that radiates needy energy. Desire does not arise from the number of texts or the number of gifts. It comes from an unexplainable feeling, curiosity, emotional tension, the pull of a man with gravity. She doesn't calculate it like he texted me 5 times. I like him 50%. No, she either feels it or she doesn't. And that feeling comes from your confidence, your calmness, your mystery, not from how much you do. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Don't waste time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In relationships, it's the same. Don't try to do more to prove yourself. Become the kind of man she simply cannot ignore." Truth 2, if she doesn't have to work for you, she won't value you. One of the biggest mistakes of nice guys is giving too much, too soon, too easily. From the very start, you pour all your time, energy, attention, affection, even money into her without requiring anything in return. You think the more you give, the more she will see your value. But in reality, when something is too easy to get, it loses its value. Remember this: people cherish what they have to work for. If she doesn't have to do anything and still gets your full devotion, in her eyes, you become default, and no one desires default. Think of the things you buy with money you've worked hard to earn, you treasure them. On the other hand, free things are often forgotten. Relationships work the same way. A woman needs to feel she is invested, that she has tried, that she has had to show up in order to have you. Only then will she truly value you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The man of worth does not beg to be chosen. He sets the standards for others to rise up to." When you have standards, when you're not easy, when she has to put in effort to keep you, that's when you become the prize. not the free option. Truth 3. She craves emotional leverage, not constant presence. Many men believe the more you are around, the more love you show. But the truth is, being glued to her 24/7 kills desire. She doesn't want an emotional babysitter. She wants a man who knows how to create rhythm in emotions, sometimes close, sometimes distant, sometimes showing up with full energy, sometimes disappearing so she can miss him. Picture this: you're always there, always texting, always listening, always available. At first, she may find it comforting, but gradually, you become the certain thing. And certainty, like eating the same meal every day, becomes boring. She doesn't want lifeless stability. She wants emotional highs and lows. A man who knows how to maintain healthy distance, who doesn't hand over all his attention instantly, creates a natural pull. It's not about playing disappearing games or manipulating, but about living in your own authentic rhythm. When she feels she doesn't completely have you in her grasp, that's when she feels drawn in. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the right to control yourself. You don't need to show up every moment to prove your love. Let your absence have value." That is how you create emotional leverage. Truth number 4. The nice guy is a backup plan, never the first choice. This is the most painful lesson for men who are too nice. Society teaches you, be good, be kind, be accommodating, and you will be loved. But in reality, the nice guy usually becomes the safe backup, not the first choice. She might call you a good friend, the one who's always there, a wonderful man, but even while saying those words, she may be dreaming about another man. Why? Because unconditional kindness, with no boundaries, no challenge turns you into a lifeboat. She knows you'll always be there, no matter what. And that absolute certainty does not create desire. Look at yourself. How many times have you listened to her talk about another man? How many times have you swallowed your tears, pretended to be fine, while secretly waiting for the day she finally realizes you're the best one, but that day rarely comes? Because kindness alone is not enough. What she needs is a man with conviction who can say no, who can set boundaries, who can walk away when necessary. Stoicism teaches a man does not seek validation from the outside, but builds his value from within. When you stop chasing to be chosen, you become the man who cannot be ignored. Truth 5. Seeking validation makes you weaker in her eyes. Everyone loves a compliment. A simple "you're amazing" can make your whole day. But here's the problem when you live off validation. You hand over the power to define your worth to someone else, and with women, especially in relationships, that makes you weaker. Imagine this scenario: she goes silent, doesn't reply to your texts. Immediately, you panic. Did I do something wrong? Is she mad at me? Then you send 3, 4 more messages, apologizing, explaining, checking in. But in reality, those messages don't come from care. They come from fear of losing her approval. And women sense this faster than you think. A man who constantly needs to hear, "Are you okay? I love you. I still care about you," will gradually lose his appeal. Why? Because instead of leading emotions, he is begging for confirmation to exist. That's not masculine strength, that's dependence. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish." The meaning is this: you don't need to prove yourself through someone else's praise. A truly grounded man is not shaken by whether he gets approval or not, and that steadiness itself is what creates attraction. Truth 6. Mystery is always more attractive than excessive stability. Men often confuse stability with attraction. They think if they text good morning every day, call good night every evening, always show up on time, always be available, she will feel safe and love them more. But in reality, too much repetition kills emotion. Picture this: you're watching a movie, but the trailer already revealed the entire plot. Do you still want to sit through it? With women, it's the same. When you expose your whole life, your whole feelings, your whole plans, there's nothing left to be curious about, nothing left to discover, and once curiosity dies, attraction disappears with it. This doesn't mean you should play games or pretend to be cold. Mystery means keeping part of yourself. No need to share every detail. No need to always be present. No need to explain everything. You reveal one part, but leave many parts for her to wonder. What is he thinking? What is he doing? What will he do next? That very gap creates attraction. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, Don't waste your breath explaining. Live in a way that doesn't require explanation. A mysterious man is not hiding, he simply doesn't need to prove himself. He lets his presence speak for itself. Truth 7. She wants to be challenged, not worshipped. Many men fall into the trap of putting her on a pedestal like a goddess. They think that constant praise, unconditional indulgence, and never disagreeing will win a woman's heart. But in reality, excessive worship kills desire. Women don't need a fan, they need an equal counterpart. Someone who dares to say, "I don't agree." Someone who stands by his principles even when tested. Someone who lets her see that his love is not a free ticket. Think about it. Have you ever always agreed with everything she said just to keep the peace? Have you ever suppressed your own opinions because you were afraid she might get upset? If so, that's exactly when you lost your attractiveness. Because when you avoid conflict at all costs, you also avoid the respect she could have for you. Challenge is not about arguing, not about controlling it, it's about creating a healthy counterbalance. When she tests you with emotions, you remain firm. When she wants to see if you have principles, you don't waver. When she shows vulnerability, you don't exploit it, but you also don't crumble along with her. You keep your frame, and that very strength makes her feel small before a true force. Stoicism teaches don't worry about what others think. Worry about whether you live true to your own principles. A man who knows how to challenge a woman the right way doesn't need to shout. "I'm a man." His calmness, principles, and steadiness prove it. And within that counterbalance, desire is born. Truth 8. The illusion of mistaking dependence for true love. This is one of the most dangerous illusions men fall into, believing that as long as she needs you, she will stay forever. You show up when she's struggling. You're the shoulder when she cries. You're the savior when she feels lost. And in that moment, yes, she needs you. But that need comes from fear, from lack, from crisis, not from desire. Imagine a woman who has just gone through a shock, losing her job, a breakup, family pressure. You step in, you comfort her, give her money, stay by her side like a rescuer. In those moments, she leans on you as if you were her lifeline. But months later, when she regains her balance, her energy shifts. The need disappears, and if the relationship was built solely on need, she will no longer have a reason to stay. Stoicism teaches us your value never depends on someone else's chaos. Don't look for strength in the ruins of a woman's life. Find your strength in the steadiness of your own. Truth 9. The less you react, the deeper. She feels. Many men believe if she cries, I must comfort her. If she's mad, I must apologize. If she's silent, I must text her non-stop. They react to every emotional signal like a machine. But that very overreaction kills attraction. Women unconsciously test you. They want to know if you're truly grounded, if you can remain calm under pressure, if a single glare, a moment of silence, or a short text throws you into panic, you've already surrendered control. And once she leads the emotions, attraction vanishes. Picture this, she tests you by sulking for no reason. The weak man quickly says, I'm sorry, it's my fault, please don't be mad. The strong man looks her in the eye, smiles calmly, and says, I hear you. Talk to me when you're ready. He doesn't avoid, doesn't rage, and doesn't beg. He holds his frame. And that calmness creates magnetism. The Greeks called this state ataraxia, inner tranquility, unmoved by the storms outside. When you don't react impulsively, you create space for her to feel, to think, to come back on her own. And within that space, desire is born. Truth 10. Emotional detachment is a man's superpower. It may sound cold, but in reality this is the key that keeps you in control in every relationship. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you are numb, nor does it mean you turn into stone. It is the ability to feel deeply without letting emotions dictate your actions. Think back to the last time you got caught in an argument. She was upset, throwing out challenges, and you instantly reacted jealousy, arguing, sending long emotional texts to explain yourself. Afterwards, you felt drained, lost respect for yourself, and more importantly, she didn't respect you any more than before. Why? Because in a woman's eyes, a man driven by emotions is like a ship without a rudder, always drifting with the waves. Now imagine another kind of man. She's angry, crying, testing him with silence. He listens, He feels, but he does not react on impulse. He remains calm, acts according to principle, and is not swept away by emotional storms. That steadiness makes her feel safe and at the same time deeply attracted. This is a man's true superpower, the ability to step out of the whirlpool of immediate emotions and keep his center. A man who doesn't master this will always live reactively happy when noticed, broken when ignored, behaving like a puppet to someone else's moods. But a man who does master it rises to another level. He becomes the mountain that stands still in the storm. Stoicism calls this the strength of reason. Marcus Aurelius once reminded, "Do not let your soul become a puppet to external events." A man can love deeply, but not be torn apart by withdrawal, silence, or even abandonment. He knows emotions are visitors, they come and go, but character is the foundation that endures. Remember, this emotional detachment does not kill love. It protects real love by keeping you in the position of strength, ensuring you never hand over all your power to someone else's moods. That is what makes you rare, unforgettable, and the kind of man women both respect and desire. After going through these 10 truths, you've probably realized one thing: the problem is not women. The problem is how you perceive yourself. Men lose in love not because they are weak, but because they hand over all their inner power to someone else's emotions and reactions. And this is where Stoic philosophy appears as a guiding map. Stoicism does not teach men to be emotionless, nor does it teach them to suppress feelings. Stoicism teaches you to master yourself in the chaos of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The same is true in love. When you let a woman's moods decide your joy, your sadness, your confidence, or your value, you've already handed her the keys to your life, and once given away, you will always live in imbalance, forever chasing validation, forever fearing loss. In contrast, a man who lives with a Stoic spirit knows this. He cannot control others, but he can always control himself. He cannot force a woman to love him, but he can train himself to be the kind of man who, even if she leaves, still stands firm. Picture it out there as a storm of emotions, tests, withdrawal, the power games of relationships. The average man panics, chases, and clings and ends up exhausted. But the Stoic man stands like a mountain. He does not resist the storm, nor does he let it carry him away. He simply stands, steady, calm, unshaken. And that very calmness is what creates true magnetism. Epictetus once said, "Do not wish for events to happen as you want them to. Wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will be serene, in love." This means do not expect her to always stay, always please, always respond. Instead, wish for things to unfold as they truly are. If she leaves, that is the truth. If she stays, that is also the truth. But your value remains unchanged, unshaken by anything that changes outside of you. The lesson for men is this: do not seek strength in being chosen. Find strength in your own power to choose. You can love deeply, but never lose yourself in that love. You can give, but never give to the point where someone else controls your soul. You can be patient, but never wait in desperation. This is the spirit of Stoicism: to love without clinging, to give without losing, to live fully without surrendering your soul to someone else's emotions. And when you live like this, you don't just become the kind of man women are drawn to, you become the kind of man even life itself must respect. You've now heard all 10 truths, and if you're still here at this very moment, it says one thing: you're not looking for sweet comfort. You're looking for truth, even if it's harsh, even if it's hard to swallow, so that you can become a stronger man, a wiser man, no longer swept away by emotions as before. Remember this: women don't want what you think. They are not conquered by gifts, by excessive kindness, or by constant presence. They are conquered by energy, by calmness, by the gravity of a man who knows his own worth. They don't want a man who begs. They want a mountain that stands firm, a man who can both love and also walk away when necessary, without ever losing himself. So from today, stop begging to be chosen. Stop proving yourself with desperate effort. Stop trading your self-respect for scraps of validation. Instead, stand firm in your principles, in your strength, in your calmness. When you do that, you won't just earn a woman's respect. You'll make life itself unable to disregard you. And if what I've shared here has struck a chord with you, let me know by leaving a comment. I understand. Share your own experiences, because your story might be the very thing that helps another man wake up. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. This is not a channel for entertainment. This is where men train their strength, build a stoic mindset, and become the strongest version of themselves. And if you're truly serious about leveling up, join the community and building a place where we go deeper, share tools, strategies, and real-life lessons to forge resilience. No fluff, no lies-only truth and progress. Remember this final line: never hand over your power to anyone. Because when you hold on to that power, you don't need to chase being chosen, you are the choice.